When you feel stress, your body releases cortisol, being the primary stress hormone. Cortisol is essential for survival because it helps you respond to danger, it boosts alertness, and mobilizes energy within the body. But chronic stress keeps cortisol levels elevated, and that's where the problem begins. Cortisol communicates directly with your endocrine system, specifically the hypothalamus, which is the master regulator of your hormonal system. This hypothalamus coordinates the pituitary gland, which controls your ovaries via the gonadotropin releasing hormone, also known as GnRH. When cortisol floods the system, it can suppress gonadotropin releasing hormone, thereby hindering the signal that tells your ovaries to release an egg during ovulation. In simple words, all I'm trying to say is that too much stress can pause ovulation and disrupt your menstrual cycle. The ways in which stress affects your menstrual cycle includes anovulation or delayed ovulation. Anovulation simply means no ovulation. When stress becomes chronic, your body prioritizes your survival over reproduction. This starts in the hypothalamus, being the command center that regulates your menstrual cycle. High cortisol interferes with the hypothalamus's ability to release gonadotropin releasing hormone, which signals for the release of follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. These hormones in sync are responsible for follicle development and ovulation. So what actually happens inside your body is cortisol hijacks the hypothalamus. GnRH pulses becomes irregular or completely suppressed. Then the ovaries doesn't receive proper signal to mature a follicle, hence ovulation is delayed or doesn't happen at all. This creates menstrual cycles that arrive late or skip entirely because without ovulation, you don't produce enough progesterone to trigger a normal period occurrence. Stress makes your brain act like pregnancy is unsafe, so it temporarily shuts down the reproductive system. Now to the second way stress affects your cycle is irregular cycle length or unpredictable periods. Cortisol doesn't just delay ovulation, it makes it inconsistent. Your menstrual cycle depends on a predictable sequence of hormonal signals, okay? Chronic stress interrupts these signals differently every month, which is why your cycle becomes 28 days on month 1, 35 days in month 2, and 24 days in the third month, and suddenly you're having two periods close to each other. This is because cortisol has affected the timing of ovulation and not the bleeding itself. If ovulation happens late, your period comes much later. If it happens early, your period will come earlier. And when it doesn't happen at all, your period may just be breakthrough bleeding or not a true menstrual bleed. This is why stress-induced irregular cycles feels completely random and unpredictable. Third, flow changes. Your menstrual flow depends heavily on two key hormones, being estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen thickens the uterine lining while progesterone stabilizes the lining and controls its shedding. But stress alters the balance between them. When bleeding heavier, what happened is high cortisol would lower progesterone production, and low progesterone production would equal unstable uterine lining. This causes prolonged shedding, heavier flow, clots, and excessive cramping. But when bleeding is lighter, if stress delays ovulation, you spend more time in the low hormone phase of the cycle. The endometrial lining doesn't build up properly, so when it sheds, the flow is light, short, and barely there. Spotting happens because estrogen and progesterone fluctuates throughout the cycle erratically. The lining breaks down in fragments instead of one clean shed, and this is why stressed cycles feel unpredictable and inconsistent. To the fourth point, premenstrual symptoms intensifies, that's worsened PMS. Stress doesn't create PMS, your hormones do. But cortisol magnifies every hormonal change you experience in your luteal phase. The mechanism that worsens PMS is cortisol. It makes you sensitive to estrogen fluctuations, and this triggers heightened emotions, irritability, mood swings, and anxiety. Cortisol again increases inflammation, and inflammation worsens bloating, breast tenderness, fluid retention, and headaches. Cortisol also lowers serotonin levels, and since serotonin levels naturally drops before a period, stress pushes it even lower, leading to cravings, fatigue, sadness, and difficulty sleeping. Why everything feels too much is your nervous system stays in constant fight or flight mode, so every menstrual symptom is amplified instead of regulated. My fifth point is fertility challenges. This has to do with reduced chances of conception. Fertility is built around timing, and chronic stress destroys that timing. How cortisol complicates conception includes no ovulation, which equals no egg to be fertilized, or delayed ovulation. It shortens the fertile window since sperm and egg lifespans must overlap perfectly. It causes thin and unstable uterine lining because of poor estrogen-progesterone balance. Implantation becomes harder. Lowered cervical mucus quality, as high cortisol reduces fertile cervical mucus, making sperm survival more difficult. It also triggers inflammation in the reproductive tract, affecting egg release, sperm motility, and embryo implantation. Your body interprets chronic stress as a sign that the environment is unsafe for pregnancy, so it reduces your chances of fertility in order to protect you. So to the signs to know when you are chronically stressed includes constant tension in the neck, jaw, or shoulders. You suffer insomnia or having restless sleep. There's cravings for sugar or caffeine spikes. Anxiety or racing thoughts would occur every now and then. Fatigue doesn't improve even with rest. All of these seemingly unrelated symptoms are actually stress manifesting in your body, quietly affecting your cycles and reproductive health. Stress also causes your thyroid function to slow down, decreasing metabolism and triggering energy dips, leading to weight gain, especially in your abdominal section. So you see, one hormone out of balance triggers another, and suddenly your entire cycle feels unpredictable. Why women often miss the connection is because we live in a world that glorifies hustle and constant productivity. We dismiss fatigue, brain fog, missed periods, and irritability and term it as normal life. But our bodies are telling us the truth every day that stress is not normal and its effects are very real. The good news is that you can restore balance, and this is how. One, by mindfulness, meditation, praying, even if it's for 5 to 10 minutes a day, would lower cortisol and improve hypothalamic signaling. Two, moving with intention. Movement that feeds your body, such as walking, moderate exercises. These will help regulate cortisol without overtaxing the system. Three, prioritizing sleep. Sleep should be prioritized because sleep synchronizes with your hormones. Chronic sleep deprivation disrupts cortisol, estrogen, progesterone, and thyroid hormones. 4. Eat with intention. Your diet should include magnesium because it reduces cortisol and eases PMS. Another thing your diet should include is omega-3s for anti-inflammatory and to support ovulation. Your diet should also include protein and fiber because they stabilize blood sugar and balance your hormones. The fifth point on how to balance your hormones is set boundaries, manage lifestyle stresses, and learn to say no. Recognize those stressors that you can control and handle, but the ones you can't control, let go of them. The sixth point is track your menstrual cycle mindfully by paying close attention to changes, patterns, and symptoms because it's your body giving you its monthly feedback. When stress hijacks your system, you don't just feel it emotionally, you feel it hormonally, physically, and cognitively. Listening, observing, and responding transform your experience from reactive survival mode to empowered alignment with your body. I want you to leave today's class knowing that your body speaks in cycles, not in chaos. Secondly, stress is not just in your head. It can disrupt your ovulation, fertility, and overall hormonal balance. Thirdly, the moment you recognize it, you track it and take action, you reclaim control over your health. Small, consistent lifestyle adjustments ripple into powerful hormonal harmony. Your menstrual cycle is not a mystery. It's a story that stress can distort, but you can rewrite it. By understanding the role of stress, you gain insight and power over your reproductive health, your energy, and your life in general. I'm Mira, and thanks for watching today's video. Like, subscribe, and share with any females you know. And remember, I'm always here for you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.